morning, Matt.
Good morning, Will.
Good morning to all of you.
Welcome to Games for Breakfast, the only internet talk show. We talk about this week's gaming and tech news, but that also has been on a fast for 2 weeks, but we are back and gorging ourselves on all of the gaming news over the past 2 whole weeks. Welcome back, Will. That was the gorging?
Yeah.
That's like nibbles.
Right, but they're very small. Like story.
No, but a gorge is like
right, but like if you eat that much of the gaming news nowadays, you'll get sick.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of a piece of gaming news we didn't put in the show, but if it comes up naturally, then maybe we'll just talk about it.
Okay. Is that your cue for Brad and Janet to start guessing wildly about what we could possibly have forgotten before we even begin the show?
Brad and Janet, guess what story is not big enough but to have made it into the show, but interesting enough where I just realized it exists right now.
Yeah, that's it.
I would prefer right answers only. I will accept wrong answers only, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, 100%.
Jay, we're starving internet fathers. Please, food. We're here. We're feeding. We're it's all around.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sarah got it on try 1.
Yeah. I mean,
that was exactly what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, no. Don't worry. Some of these other ones, I like this one. Glums. Bethesda announced that Elder Scrolls 6 really exists. We promise.
Sure.
Yeah, that's, yep. The fact there is no RAM in my veins, I think that's a good.
That's probably a good thing.
That's not where the RAM goes.
We'll talk about where the RAM should go. That's not a place where it should go.
You should consult a doctor if there's RAM in your veins. Probably.
I mean, most likely.
Don't
if
crush
you could
it.
get a doctor.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
I like no, with that one we're talking about, the Netflix thing is interesting. It's just like it's like a extended preview of some kind. I don't know if it's a trailer or if it's like devs talking about it, but it comes out August 28th, like on Netflix. And it makes sense. It's the biggest media property in the universe, so at least that we know of. Again, I haven't finished
not
Blippo.
Actually. Pokemon's
I haven't
bigger.
finished Blippo Plus. What was that?
Pokemon's still bigger.
It's like media event, like piece of media. Pokemon
media event,
is across multiple facets of many games, shows, movies, cards, etc. Oh man, when the GTA TCG comes out, better watch our hats. All right. Well, let's get into the stories that we're actually talking about. Oh, there's still some previewy things before we get into like our main story.
Yeah.
Because we were gone.
We were gone. Matt was in places, and that's why
I was in places. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about Gen Con, where Matt and Jeff both were. Congratulations on Gen Con.
Gen Con was great. Before that, I was actually in New Orleans for the first time. I don't know if anyone's ever been in New Orleans, but I was there for a wedding. It was lovely. We got to do a second line. Do you know what a second line is, Will?
I do not.
I did not know what a second line was, but one of the grooms was from New Orleans, and this is something apparently that they do there. Where essentially they shut down a bunch of streets, and the entire wedding marches in a parade with like police escort all the way down to and a little bit through Bourbon Street.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was insane.
Yeah, look, I feel like New Orleans, if New Orleans can be said to do one thing supremely well, it's parades.
Yeah.
Like,
I also did, Jamie and I went on a swamp tour, met some alligators. That was very fun. Actually, it was super fun. And then we ended up going to the pharmacy museum, where the first actual licensed pharmacy was, and it was fascinating and terrifying. There's an episode of Extra History in there somewhere.
I'm sure.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But so that was great. And then Gen Con was phenomenal. Jeff and I were out there. I think I sent a picture of the panel. Will, did that make it into the...
Yeah, it did. I got it, I think.
Basically, we did 2 panels. Jeff's panel was on why board games mostly make bad video games. And my panel was a thing that Will and I spearheaded a long time ago, 5 years ago at MagFest. Yeah. Called this one we renamed it to be Extra History is Not a Cult. And on the panel was me, Jeff, Jenna, who friend of the show, Jenna, and then Mary Lou, who's a phenomenal TTRPGer and improv comic. And it was a blast. Will, last time you won Cult, which essentially is a game like you played the game with the entire panel room. Yeah. So we make up cults based on card prompts. They all have one of two questions on cards they get handed when they walk in. We call on them. We have to answer the questions in the form of our newly made up cult, how they would answer. And then the person at the end who gets the most cards handed into them has the cult win. And not only do they get to decide how the other cults perish or fade away, but then they have their cult hidden into a episode of Extra History in the future. Will's cult of the business corgi won at MagFest. And that was hidden in, I believe, our Secret Society's episode 4 on Extra History.
It was.
And this time, Jenna took it home with a cult known as Now 2K instead of Y2K because she was trying to bring back the technology and the hype of technology that was then right before without all the problems or fake problems. And then she just turned it kind of into like a party drug cult. And I think that's what really won everything over.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that's, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That checks out.
Jenna is everywhere these days, and it is good. She absolutely killed it. We got to get her on breakfast one of these days.
Get in line. Jeff and I also just talked about having her on Design Club to talk about game reviewing.
Yeah,
so
it's all things.
Yeah.
But the what was I going to say? The cool thing there, MagFest was overall really, really lovely. There was so much going on. I feel like I saw like an eighth of it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, wow. Actually, but you know why I'm thinking of MagFest? There were people, Will, at this panel who showed up who were at the MagFest panel who said that was their favorite panel ever and they wanted to see it again. So when they saw it on the thing, they came here. They even showed me texts that their friends were talking about all the different cults like weeks later. And I was like, it was very, very sweet.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think. The last big news from Gen Con, honestly, was the tornado.
Yeah, /flood.
Yeah, /flood. There was a tornado warning. It's funny. I'd been out till like 4 or 5 in the morning the night before the tornado day or the tornado warning day. And I was like, I'm going to go take a disco nap around 5 o'clock just to naps. And we were talking about that in the pre-show. Just so so I can power through for the rest of the meetings and parties and things and the next day. And so I went back to the hotel and my head hit the pillow and then it was just brrrr. And then like we all had to like shelter in place essentially because downtown Indianapolis had a tornado warning. So like I hung out in my hotel room's bathroom under the door. That was fun. But like the convention center had a big old leak in it. Multiple basements were flooded. Like it was raining down into Hall B. It was crazy. So, but I don't believe anyone was hurt. So that is good. And the tornado never apparated, which is also good. But we will always remember the tornado warning /flooding of Gen Con 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one other piece of information that we need to tell you all, which is that the Kickstarter, which has a mere 13 of days left, has just passed our $70,000 stretch goal.
Yeah, it's cooking, man.
Is wild. And in my opinion, like, and I've told Jeff this, it's real cool that like we're raising a bunch of money and we're making a thing that a bunch of people want, and we're getting to do more of it with the giving people more. We just got custom jokers for the card decks at $70,000. So we got that. We've got
that's going to be Walpole and Treasure Hunter Zoe.
Ooh, very nice. We've got all kinds of like new shorts and everything else. And that's all cool and great and wonderful. The thing that continually knocks my socks off is that there are now more than 1,000 homes around the world that are going to be looking at our Extra History calendar every day for all of 2027, and that's bananas to me. The fact that you all support our stuff enough to like bring this into your home, or like that, it's kind of the same as when people are like, yeah, you're on our TV and everyone's watching. I'm like, why? Okay. I don't know what to do with that, but that's great, and thank you all so much for that.
Oopsie, we are not doing a digital one this year. We have talked about what next year is going to be. We're trying to figure out different things. Like, basically, the offerings that we have for this year are locked. Like, there's no, like, we are, in order to make delivery, we have to lock exactly. Like, we had a bunch, like, this grew a little bit faster than we thought it would, and we had planned for a lot of contingencies. We didn't plan for everything. And so we were like, oh, what do we do if X? And, like, we came to a unanimous decision. We can't add more physicality than we've already sort of like hopefully prepped to add. So yeah, it's great, and we will see what goes on next year.
I like this. This is making history.
Whoa. All right. Well, speaking of history,
the bad kind.
RIP 2027. It's not that bad, but it's annoying. Will kick us off here. How all memory gone 2027?
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that happens in industry, business, here's what I say, business, is supplies or manufacturing capacity gets allocated in advance. So in this case, Samsung, HK Hynix, and Micron have officially allocated all of their DRAM and HBM production throughout the end of 2027. And the problem here is that the people with the most money can outbid for production capacity for the following year. And of course, to chat, Brad, Janet, who has the most Rocky, who has the most made up money with which to buy capacity? So just to be clear, these are people spending money that isn't real on capacity to manufacture a thing that doesn't exist yet.
Well, it is real in the sense of the people that are pretending it is.
Yeah, that's true, right? Is it I like how Janet and Brad agree. We have Janet, me, I have billions in my mind, and Thunder, is it me? Moments apart on two different platforms. Thank you all for drifting the brain cell around. It's getting a good workout. No, it's AI. They're driving up the prices, and because there's a finite capacity.
Yeah, you can't just make infinite memory.
Right.
Without infinite time and infinite resources.
Right. Both of which are bets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kind of means that, at least for the moment, my read on this eventuality is that memory prices and the current hardware component crisis are not going to get better in 2027 unless something radically changes.
No, they've locked it in. I think, weren't you saying before the show, Will, that like this is like the concept of locking in who is buying what early makes total sense, because especially if these are components for complicated pieces of tech, then you need to know that so you can hit deadlines and get things out the door in the years that they would need the components for.
Right.
This has just happened far earlier this year than before, essentially, and has locked in across the board, no pun intended there, the amount of RAM and where it will be allocated, or memory, graphics cards, etc., will be allocated across all the different companies that use these chips.
Yep.
So with that in mind, if that's already sold and locked in, that's what they cost. Companies aren't going to be bringing down the cost of their products that these are in, because they just locked in deals at these prices.
Mm-hmm. And this has like real consequences, right? This is sort of like a theoretical thing, right? There all of the memory for next year is spoken for, right? Which means that every manufacturer knows what allocation they're getting from these the three biggest memory manufacturers, right? So as an example, AMD is talking about the Radeon RX 950. So there's going to be, like, it's a budget card, which is good, by the way. Very good. There's the RX 9050 is an 8 gig model that's launching for $279. Okay. All right. That's, like, not terrible for once. Even in the midst of all of this crap, we get some good news. But the other thing is that they're also making a cheaper, less RAM intensive, less RAM speed, just worse. It's just worse in every axis 4 gig card for low-end gaming PCs because they can't put the faster stuff in it, and they're just like, well, I guess we're gonna make like the cheapest worst card and you're gonna like it or something, but it only has 4 gigs. It's got a slower memory bus and less memory bandwidth. So it is less memory, worse memory, slower memory. But it is still technically a new graphics card. Have fun. Right? That's like that's a real consequence of this, right?
Grant, I feel this. Keep deluding myself. The AI bubble will pop, and then their AI companies will need to liquidate this RAM, and the prices will plummet. I can hope. I think the thing what makes this story so upsetting is like the fact that it's all locked in so early in the game means that is less and less likely to happen in 2027. Like, there's ways when this was like, if this was happening later in the year, like the timing of it could play out different. I don't know. It is a super bummer.
It is also worth noting that, and we've talked about this briefly before, all memory is not the same.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that the manufacturing capacity is sold in advance is that there are different options for how this memory can be configured or allocated, or the chips that make up the memory can be manufactured. And the stuff that AI uses in data centers is not the same as the stuff that you use in your computer. You can't just heist it and then hot swap it. That's not how it works, unfortunately.
This isn't like the amount of precious metals that are in certain cameras posted all around the United States. It's not like that.
It's definitely not like that. Nor would anyone suggest or post publicly that there's roughly 64 gigs of memory inside each and every one of those cameras.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. No one should really be talking about that, I think.
Nor should you be 3D printing, if anyone has seen this, bird feeders in the shape of those cameras to train crows to peck at where the lenses are. Someone did this. Someone 3D printed a model of a flock camera and put holes where the bird seat is, where the lens would be, to train crows to peck out the lenses.
What stinks about that is that will just end up punishing the crows, regardless. That's very funny. Someone had something that was super interesting. Where did it go? Oh, could all this push software developers to start optimizing again to allow stuff to run on older hardware? I think so. In the micro, yes. What we need, I think, to move anything forward, because okay, if that, let's say that happens, that's still not going to make the price of current day memory or memory chips go down, because the places that are buying them at the high prices will still buy them at the high prices. What it might do is allow, like, if people had a really good new way of optimization for games or other things, that could make those experiences better on the crappier cards that we all have because we can't afford or even get our hands on a new one. And a lot a lot of the meaningful technological advances, at least in my lifetime, have been more on the software side than the hardware side.
Yeah. And I mean,
the bottleneck kind of breeds innovation.
It does. And I think that is particularly true in our the space that we will proudly call the Trash Panda Indie Dumpster. The Trash Panda Indie Dumpster is a big fan of games that run on your smart fridge, your phone, your smart watch, your smart TV, your printer, right? Like whatever, it's fine. Like whatever it is, right? And we're seeing more and more of that with like indie smash hits like Balatro, with all of the optimization stuff that's coming to platforms like Godot. I do think there is something to that idea. One of the problems is getting started, right? Like, that's great for people who already have older stuff. For people who are trying to build like their first thing, or for console prices, or for whatever, right? Getting in is there's still a barrier.
Well, don't worry, NVIDIA or the Radeon RX 950.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll get a terrible bad card. I mean, at that point, just get a tablet and play Balatro forever.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah. They did it. Hold on. Apparently, they did it as a joke at a TennoCon last year, but I have literally seen Warframe run on a smart fridge. Okay, to be fair though, the Warframe team is committed to making that game run on everything that has a screen.
Absolute mad lads. I popped in and out on Switch 2 right now, and it runs like butter. Like, it's great.
Yeah, we'll talk more about optimizing games for Switch 2 in a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna move on to the other bad news though, which is that while the 9050 is coming out and will be a budget card.
Sure.
It looks like the writing is on the wall that both NVIDIA and AMD will be raising prices on their mainline GPUs, which IGN is guessing that the 5090 might go up to as much as $6,500.
Insane.
Yo, Mike, neither, I need to stress this, neither of the computers that I run as a person who professionally relies on big, powerful computers as a whole cost $6,500. Neither of them. And to be fair, I bought this one, the one that's bringing you this stream, before the RAM crisis, mercifully, because it has 120 gigs of RAM in it. Don't worry about it. No, you can't know where I live for a friend.
I've trained crows. I've made bird feeders that look like Will's rig.
Yeah, that's right.
And the crows are now ready to find it and bring all that sweet, sweet RAM to my house.
Right, yeah, but like, and I think this is a very good point. Ninetales says, my car costs less than that, right? And I think Amentor has it completely right. There is no market for a graphics card at that price.
No.
Right? And I think that's right. That's the big thing, right? Is that the money, we have reached monopoly money, right? We have reached the point where it's no longer a real amount of money to buy a graphics card. It is now a fake inflated amount of money that, like, you're like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll finance it, or yeah, sure, I guess I'll get it when I win the lotto, get my inheritance, sell a car, hawk a kidney, whatever.
Well, I think the most depressing part about it is it's not going, at least currently, crash like a normal bubble would crash. Like, the problem is they're going to make these cards cost this money, because then they're still going to, they can't sell as many anymore to people because they don't have the components or resources, supply, because they're already selling that supply of parts to a industry that is based on vibes. Like, so like, I guess what I'm saying is there's no incentive for them to make cards not only for the wealthy, because they're already selling all of the stuff that they need to sell to the wealthy.
Yeah.
And so I agree with the point before of, like, sadly, I think we're going to start seeing, and maybe not even sadly, but I'm just trying to turn the frown upside down. Like, innovation is going to come through optimization. It's going to come, like Balatro is a great example of just a thing that took the gaming world by storm that doesn't need a ton to run it, right? Like, and I'm not saying that every game can do that, but also, like, I don't want to. Everyone has the things in games that's important to them, and I feel for the people that, like, you know, 4K, like 120 frames a second, like whatever, like those things that, like, you've built and you've been able to afford up to this point now becomes unaffordable. Like, that sucks. That's awful. That industry shouldn't run like that. Tech should become cheaper, not more expensive.
Yep.
However, the place where I have hope, weirdly, even though you could say it is not the optimal way to play, but, like, I look at things like Cyberpunk on the Switch 2. I can't believe that game runs as well as it does. It's 30 frames a second normally.
Sure.
Right? But it looks gorgeous.
Right.
Like, I cannot believe what they managed to make that game look like on what is essentially a potato. I know that it's a newer console, but still, like, comparatively to other systems and standard PCs, like, what are you doing?
Still a potato, yeah.
Like, so there are people out there that are very good at optimizing, and hopefully heck, maybe now I'm being too optimistic at this point. Maybe the absolute need to launch a game where enough people can play it will lead to games being delayed more, so there can be more optimization options and maybe other problems fixed. Probably not, but I'm trying to spit some niceties into the world where maybe one will latch into a moment of truth.
Yeah, I think that's true. So, all in all, the bottom line on this is it's a little bananas. So here, as an example, there's a story from PC Gamer. That
can I set this one up, Will? Actually, I have a thing here. I have a thing here. So, you know how the medical industry and the insurance industry in the United States is just crackerjack? Like, it's so good that you never have any problems, and you never, even dentistry, you'd never have to fly overseas for a medical procedure or to get your teeth worked on because it was 700% cheaper in another country. And therefore, you would get a vacation out of going to whatever country that the procedure's having, and then have your procedure for less than the cost of just the procedure in the United States.
Right.
Yeah. So Quakecon said, "Hold my beer," and essentially is working is working with graphics cards manufacturers, with NVIDIA, and they're going to have a select number of, I believe, the RTX 4070 Supers at MSRP available at Quakecon.
Right. So this PC gaming author is from the UK.
Yes.
And they did the math that the cheapest flight for them to Dallas, where Quakecon is, from the UK, is about $1,500 US, $1,428 specifically. And admission to QuakeCon is $16.50, and the RTX 5090 is $1,999. So that's the total for that is $3,443 US, which is, I cannot stress this enough, more than $1,000 cheaper than the cheapest place you can find an RTX 5090 online right now. It's not like barely cheaper. It's not a little savings. It is $1,000 cheaper to fly from the United Kingdom to Quakecon to purchase a graphics card.
Granted,
That's where the market is at right now.
I don't know exactly how they're divvying these out at Quakecon.
It's Quakecon. It's a knife fight. They're just going to
it's
throw a
rip
knife
and
in the
tear.
ground at Quakecon, and people are going to knife fight, and whoever gives up last or is the last person alive gets to buy them. Yeah, that's the round trip. Yes.
Well, good luck to anyone going to Quakecon. I didn't know Quakecon was still a thing. I'm glad to hear that it is. It's kind of like a love letter to all things ID. I think we had a graphic for that, right? Did we not? Yeah, there it is. It's their 30th anniversary of Quakecon. August 6th to 9th. Is Quakecon right now? No, wait. Is it August? What year is it?
It is August. Quakecon is happening.
Quakecon's happening. Grapevine, Texas. What's going on, Quakecon? What up, Quakecon? I hope anyone is watching this stream waiting in line at Quakecon.
Yeah.
That would make me happy.
I also like, hold on a sec. I have to point this out when this happens. I also like that we have multiple people on multiple platforms suggesting that we should be doing this Yu Yu Hakusho style. An anime which came out more than 20 years ago, and people are suggesting that we use that as the model. By the way, I was wrong. My bad. Yu Yu Hakusho finished more than 30 years ago, and
Happy 30th anniversary
on 2 different platforms suggest we have a knife fight Yu Yu Hakusho style.
Is that not kismet for the 30th for 30th? Come on.
Yeah, right. Obviously. Yeah. Anyway,
if any of you know how to make RAM, and you have all the parts to do it in the facilities, I might say that might be a good time to get on it.
DIY RAM in your garage.
If you're just sitting on all the tech and the materials and the rare earth metals, just like they're just lying around, this might be your time.
Anyway, yeah. Speaking of Quakecon, by the way, we do have good news out of Quakecon, so I guess that means that it's time for us to do a thing, right? It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, and now I think it's good newsy time, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did we do our main course graphic?
No, we didn't. It's okay.
Ah, we're so bad at this. It's been 2 weeks.
It actually has been 2 weeks, and we're both extremely tired.
Yeah.
All right.
Get out of here, QuakeCon. Let's talk about something completely different, like the new levels in Quake.
Yeah, so pitch me on this, Matt. Matt brought me this story this morning and was like, well, we got to talk about this. And then I was setting everything up but didn't have time to watch the video that he sent me.
Essentially, on most versions, I believe, the only trailer I have is for the PS4 and PS5, but I believe this is being released across multiple things. I didn't even know you could still get Quake on the PS4 and the PS5, but now they're releasing essentially for free for anyone who owns Quake a completely new campaign/map pack called Dawn of the Machine, and it's just more single player Quake levels for the 30th anniversary. I think there's 19 made in. I want to see exactly what the So the award-winning Machine Games in collaboration with id. It's a brutal new episode building on their critically acclaimed work on Dimensions of the Machines and Dimensions of the Past. And it's basically, it's awesome. I cannot wait to, speaking of our inability to play games that are like the current day's games.
Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, and it's going to be in the show notes for Quake Dawn of the Machines, it's so old, it looks new retro.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at Quake being played in a long time. And this to me would sit right at home in any of the new retro boomer shooters that that have been basing themselves off of this. And so to have lovers of this game in collaboration with some of the team that actually made it, I think it's just it really tickled something for me, and I cannot wait to sort of dive back into Quake, which is so strange to say. I love this. I love that this dropped, I think, yesterday.
Sounds correct.
But that makes sense, right? Because that's when Quakecon would have started. Show of hands across both chats, if you wouldn't mind. How many of you have actually played more than like 5 minutes of Quake? Like back in the day. Like, I'm not, again, it's 30 years old. I'm not expecting a ton.
Yeah, not I.
Quake was the next step right after Doom. Our last episode 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, or whatever, was sort of a love letter to Doom. Yeah, we got some hands raised. I like it. Yeah, and then we had some people saying they fully played Quake 2, 15 minutes. Who here is old? That's really, new guy, that's the question. That's really the question.
Yeah.
I do really like, but and more Quake 2. I would urge anybody, how much is Quake right now? Like,
hold on.
you look it up on Steam.
$4.
If we're talking about like full experiences on hardware that can run it, like, and that is cheap, like Quake, if you are how do I put this? If we sort of like glazed Doom a ton last episode, but Quake moved it into what is essentially like the super fast paced, and not the streaming service half of you are watching this on, twitchy gameplay of a 3D shooter. Quake originated the rocket jump. Like, Quake is seminal and fun, and for $4 with a brand new campaign already, I think there's like 4 campaigns, or maybe there's a few more. I don't know. It's a full 3D shooter that on any hardware right now will probably run at the blazingest of fast speeds.
You can buy it. You could buy all of the Quake games, the Quake collection, for $16.41. And it runs on an Intel Core i5 at 3.4 i5 3570 with a GeForce GTX 650 Ti. And you need 2 gigs of hard drive space and 8 gigs of RAM. So basically, is it a computer? In like the loosest sense of the question, is it a computer? Great, it can play Quake.
Yeah.
And for $16, how long do you think it takes you to play through every Quake game for $16?
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, that's like a month. Yeah.
I don't know. It's great.
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear this. It was sort of a frown upside down about the Quakecon thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not, to be very clear, I'm not blaming Quakecon for the NVIDIA thing.
Yeah. Of course not.
NVIDIA made this problem, and they're doing a gimmick to do something with it that I do think probably, unless they have something really on lockdown, will cause scalpers to get graphics cards. But there's also going to be some people that actually love Quake that are there that need a graphics card that will also get one. So
yeah.
You won't need it for Quake, though.
Yeah.
You really don't need that graphics card to play Dawn of the Machine.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I don't know. I was psyched about it when I saw that trailer. I woke up to it. I was like, whoo.
All right. We've used the word kismet already this episode. For some catharsis, chat, do you know what one of my favorite kinds of good news is? Drinking corporations' salty tears like a milkshake. It's one of my favorite things that we get to do here. Roblox is shrinking. I have no love for Roblox.
Why?
It could be the injection of AI into everything, the child labor, the failing to protect children from online predators,
right?
The rampant use of dark practices and predatory practices to get people to spend more money on their game. Yeah, those are like the big ones. So they're down.
I just think it looks stupid.
Yeah, that's also true.
Oof.
They're down 70 billion this year.
So take that bet on this one and times it by like 1.2. I don't know. My math's not good. 2.1, 2.2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It not looking great. They're saying essentially, this comes to us from Dextro. They're basically saying things like, I love this so much, that Roblox blames the lack of viral games for its slowing player growth. So Roblox as a business, this kind of just puts it all out there right front and center, is based on the ability of other people building the games in Roblox.
Yes.
And then monetizing for Roblox through those games. Now there's, I mean, other game design systems, Unreal, you know, all these things can do this too, right? Like that's fine. But none of them are like tied so cleanly to the sort of like corporate overlord company that is literally required. Like, I believe there was a game called Garden Story. Is that correct?
I think that's right.
Garden something that was like a breakout hit in 2025. And apparently the monetization, I've never played it. I know nothing about it. So chat, correct me when I am wrong, and sound off in the comments if you've played that game. Heck, if I'm even getting the name wrong. But essentially it was, okay, oopsie played it. Beat the garden game. It's good. Yeah. Like, essentially, it was a game in Roblox that I believe had some monetization inside of it and also, like, was a viral hit, and therefore people came to Roblox just to play the garden game, right? Seems like they're basing their business model on that. Like,
yeah.
It needs to do that, and there's not a real plan to do it. And the thing about virality is oftentimes, unless you are a scientist recently fired, you can't really, like, track everything that's viral all the time. Especially like in media, right? Yeah. There is a flip side to this story. I have no love for Roblox. This is not me trying to, I think their business model is flawed.
Yeah.
But some of the losses are also from focusing on things like basically like faster paced games that people play for less time that have less monetization.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
Some of it is on, even though there's a billion steps to be done, but like child safety and like basically like causing more friction points.
Yes.
Even though there's a long way to go in the accessing of games and spaces in Roblox, that will slow down revenue. These are things that what sucks is these are good things that will slow down revenue, but because money is made up and everyone bought in and thought it was going to be a free money machine and everything would be fine, there's no way that the good elements here are ever going to be either praised or continued, in my opinion. Like, what will happen is innovation, unless something random comes along, will start to stagnate. And the much needed safety rails for something like Roblox will choke it in the environment of a business that has a C-suite to answer to.
Yes.
I truly believe this. If Roblox was still a private company, they could weather this. They could figure it out. They could slow roll. They could move with stuff. Would they make all the money? Would it be as profitable as before? Absolutely not. Would they be in this amount of trouble? I don't think so. I think this is a core example of how things that, in a lot of ways, make gaming spaces better for players and consumers is at direct opposition of the mentality of what a public traded company values.
Right. So, yeah. I also want to put this in context. Because I think we're focusing a lot on the money like aspect.
Sure.
I think that's good. I also want to point out that their active daily users fell from 152 billion to 123 million.
And how inflated were those? How many of those were faulty accounts? Like,
Sure.
Right.
But I also want to just put that number in context. That is like if everyone in Australia was playing Roblox and then stopped.
Or half of our viewer base. I can math.
Yeah, that's how math works, right? Like It's also about it's not just about the money. It's not just about the decay of the business model. It's also about,
like, sending a message.
It's about the decay of like interest in this platform as a thing, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. My short answer of this is good.
Mm-hmm.
My wider answer is, but it does kind of stink as to why, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
And that's, again, no love to Roblox. They got themselves here.
Yeah.
But
this is Ryan brings up a very salient point. Is this year on year? Yes.
Yeah.
This is year on year. This is not like earlier. This is not a seasonal change. This is year on year. That's a good question.
This isn't them thinking the sky's falling because of a thing that they could see continually back and forth. This is like overall.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, good luck, Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. How does it sound? Is that the noise?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Or is it deeper?
Yeah. Maybe a little.
Oof.
Yeah, it's close.
I don't know.
We'll get H-Bomber guy in here. He'll tell
Yeah.
us. He did a deep dive on oof.
It's so good.
It is remarkably good for being as deep a dive as it was on.
I met him once at a rooftop in LA, and I didn't shut up about that video for like 5 minutes. I'm sure it was super annoying. Like I love that video so much. That's one of the few video essays I will rewatch maybe like once a year. It's too good.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, let's talk about a good thing. This is good news.
Yeah, some more good news. So we recently put out a short about how Nintendo is seeking a refund of illegal tariffs collected by the U.S. government, because it turns out that the U.S. government collected a bunch of tariffs based on the IEEPA, and that actually doesn't let them do that. It turns out it's kind of illegal. Can't do. The Supreme Court said no, can't do that. So a bunch of companies are like, hey, you took money from us. You're not allowed to take. Gimme. And the official position that's widely been adopted is that they're under no obligation to give any kind of money back to consumers, because the consumers didn't directly get charged a tariff, the companies did, and the companies raised the price of their goods to compensate, and people paid that price for those goods, right? And so that's a whole other issue, but there's nothing stopping a company from saying, hey, we got a bunch of money back from the U.S. government. We can do things with that. Things like what Arctic is doing, where it is rolling back its prices and putting the money that they got back into community initiatives.
They basically want to make sure that they're paying back things to their customers as accurately as they can. By the way, Arctic is basically like a cooling company.
Yes.
They're a company that makes different things for PCs to keep your internal components that you can no longer afford nice and crispy cold.
Right.
Side note, I got a little distracted because Basil said, I put this back up, but basically Basil said they literally came from the short 10 seconds ago. Which is so funny that we're talking about this right now.
Yeah.
This is great. This is what you, like, we say in the short that the good thing that Nintendo did here is reminding us that corporations are not your friends. Like, that's, no matter how much their marketing moves that way, no matter how much it's been a part of your family for your entire lives, like, they're just not. I want to make it very clear. No company, I still don't think any company is obligated in any legal capacity to do anything about this. They can do whatever they want. We choose to buy what we buy. And I think overall, society might be a little bit better if we paid more attention to that, myself included. But what Arctic is doing here is something that is not the norm. I wish it was, because it is a very, in my opinion, moral stance to take. Again, this is their announcement of it, and they're already starting it a bit. We'll see how it goes, and I don't think there's any ill will here. It's always hard to be like, well, how do you figure out the number that is the number that you're giving back, and then how do you give that back? Because you're not doing like direct payments back to your customers. You're trying to give them things that you would equate the same amount of value that they overspent.
Yep.
But like, I don't know, this made me feel really good when I read it. Like, companies do not need to do this. This is I don't know how small, but smaller than Nintendo. That's like, no, like, and I would even say it's from a fully altruistic point of view. It's also great press.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Nintendo of America came out in the midst of Sony just shooting itself in the knee 100 times with the no disc thing? At least from a public perception, we'll see how it rolls out, right? And Nintendo came back and been like, hey, we're suing for this money back that your government took from you in a roundabout way. We're going to figure out a way to give that back to all of our customers.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the level of goodwill that Nintendo would receive in that way?
Right. But that's not cost effective.
It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Maybe it's only possible because Arctic is a smaller company. I have no idea. But I don't know. I really appreciate this. Shout out to them. And this is something where the next time I'm building a PC, I will actively hunt for their parts. Granted, that's probably not going to be until like 2029, but like, this is something that sticks in my mind as a good move for their customer base, and I like companies that do that. So there's no better way, at least for me, to get you sort of stuck in that part of my brain where I want to give you my business.
Yeah, I agree. Also, we're going to inform we missed ads this time around because
we're slow at this because we've been fasting for 3 weeks.
Because timing was off. So apologies to anyone who missed it. It was essentially just us talking about the Arctic story. You missed part of a story that was relatively minor in the grand scheme.
But a really heartwarming one.
Yeah. All right. The industry is also not in the best way when it comes to devs. There have been a lot of layoffs. There are going to be more layoffs. We'll talk about that in a bit. However, the industry is also recognizing that maybe it's on us collectively, them and us, to help take care of the devs who are maybe not having the best time. And there is now a bundle out on itch to support gaming workers. It is up for the next 6 days, 14 hours, and 51 minutes at the tone. Beep.
Beep.
And their goal is to raise $200,000. They've currently raised $171,781.93. You get 127 items that regularly retail for $1,018 for 10.
I bought it this morning. There's a bunch of great games in it.
Yep.
There's games I've been meaning to play and I just haven't yet. A Short Hike, Skatebird, Atomic Owl. What was the other one? I was sort of going down the list. Oh, I had heard, I'm not sure if it's good, but Dungeon Bodega Simulator. I actually did want to see. I saw that a while ago.
They Bleed Pixels is in here. I saw another one when I was looking earlier.
Yeah,
but they also have things like Drywall Eating Simulator.
Yep.
You know, in case you ever wanted to simulate the idea of eating drywall. There's also things like asset packs for making games. There's all kinds of, there's music. There's all kinds of things in this bundle, and it is a really cool way that the industry is trying to take care of game workers who have been negatively impacted by the fact that the industry is like 50% fire by volume right now. So that's good, I think.
Oh, do we know, is this for US based or international total? Let me see if we can find out.
I believe it is
United Video Game Workers, which is, I believe, a US based.
That is correct.
Or no, is it? Hold on.
Due to nature jurisdiction, this fund will only be available to developers in North America, the US, and Canada.
Okay.
Down in the fine text.
There we go.
Good question, though.
Good question.
Good question.
And if this one doesn't fit where the people that you'd like to support, I'm sure there are other ones, maybe not as large. Why would I eat drywall in a simulation if I could eat my own drywall for free? Because it's not free, because drywall costs money. And if you were doing any home improvements lately, also the tariffs have messed that up.
Right.
It's cheaper to simulate eating drywall these days.
Do you know what's definitely not free? A hospital bill after you eat drywall.
Unless you fly to another country to have it way cheaper. Cheap, not free, but, you know. Maybe
Go to the NHS. I ate drywall in the United States. Anyway. WoW was having an interesting time.
I had fun with this one.
Yeah, I know you did. We talked about this a while ago. Their relationship with add-ons has been in flux. WoW used to be a game that was about 75% add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a game that's 25% add-ons.
Yeah.
And they're slowly reaching a sort of a homeostasis with the add-ons that do remain and with things that they want them to do. So they're now easing up some of the restrictions and allowing for some amount of things that are kind of like weak auras, but not legally weak auras, to come back into
legally distinct.
Legally not weak auras. The big difference is that there are now restrictions on which status effects those auras can read. So it used to be that you could read any status effect on anyone. Buff on an enemy, debuff on a player, whatever. Now...
A little bit different now.
Now you're only allowed to read buffs on yourself and debuffs on the enemy. You're not allowed to read the enemy's buffs or your debuffs, meaning that you still have to solve those parts of the encounter yourself.
I like it.
Which I think is a good middle ground. I will say I'm still a little... I feel like they are backing down because they've tried to design around the need for this, but it feels like the community wants to need this thing.
Also, and I think this is in the article in PC Gamer, because I don't think I came up with this smart thing myself. They're also kind of realizing that the community can just make this stuff faster than they can.
I think that's true. They're outsourcing a lot.
Like, and that's fine. Like, it's fine. I like this rebalancing, because what I want as a new or returning player, and I didn't finish Midnight, though. Will I do still want to do a hardcore run at some point. Because I think that'd be a nightmare. I'm
willing to participate in this nightmare with you for content and for no other reason.
We'll see. But, yeah, because I want to be able to hop onto this game as a new or returning player and just be able to play it and not be at a complete disadvantage from the get-go. It seems like and I don't think the pendulum has like stopped swinging yet, but I think that they are trying to find a homeostasis point, and I'm glad that they're going back a little bit on this, even though I was very happy they went full hog on this. Like, it's going to be a learning curve.
The real problem is that the best way to affect this change would be to release a sequel. Is to redo the code base and to release a new game, WoW 2, that has as a fundamental buy-in, you are not allowed to use add-ons. You're never going to need add-ons because we've built all of that functionality in from the beginning, but that's just a non-starter, right? So they can't accomplish the best way to do it, and so everything else is a compromise with the devil, sort of.
Of course.
Yeah. So... Okay.
Let's see. Will, can you vamp for 2 seconds before we get... Oh, no, this is perfect. Will, announce the next story, and then I'll be back, and I'll guess what you said.
Okay, great. Excellent. This is the part of the show where I tell you what happened at Berlin. So the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival in Berlin happened while we were offline, and a bunch of cool things got announced. One of them I'll wait to talk about until Matt's back, because I think he'll like that one. But the short version for people who don't play 14, if you play 14, just go watch the VOD of the keynote. Just go do that. Don't listen to me try and give like a recap. But the brief version is we did get told what one of the two new classes is. It's a tank called Bastion. It uses 2 shields. Those shields turn into guns. That's awesome. We got a whole bunch of information about quality of life features, about the new way that progression is going to work, about customization. We got a whole bunch of information about all of those things. Not a lot of information on the new combat model, but we did also get a bunch of information about the environs of Evercold and what's going on.
Moogles!
Oh, very good, Matt. Okay. We did get more information about the raid series. Both of them. The Alliance raid series, I don't think we talked about this right after FanFest NA, is a crossover with Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. If we don't get to Scream Get in the Mech Shinji, I don't know what we're doing. So that's happening. However, much more exciting is that the normal raid series, the 8-person raid series, will contain both a new difficulty in between normal and savage. They're doing like a new difficulty level, which I think is very good and very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that. But the theme of the new raid series is Final Fantasy VII. It's called Beyond the Lifestream. And it is being designed in concert with the team from the Final Fantasy VII remakes. So, yeah, not the first time they've done this.
That feels like these are very different games.
They kind of. Yes.
I mean, from a mechanical standpoint,
yes.
Very much so.
Yes. From a narrative standpoint, which is really what we care about, I think, not so much. So we're going to see how that goes. They did lead us into guessing what the raid series was by playing One Winged Angel, and the crowd lost their minds. I'm excited to see how they do this. I think that's probably I'm definitely more excited for that than I am for Evangelion. Not that there's anything wrong with Evangelion, by the way, like not my thing.
Well, I know Final Fantasy VII also isn't really your thing, right? Like it's not,
sure.
Right? It's not that you have anything against it, but like, how do you feel? Like, is it because 14 is still releasing enough like of its own stuff and story and lore, and like so like anything else like Evangelion or 7 being sort of added to the mix, like you just see as additive and not like the team being moved off to do something like that's all nostalgia bait? Is that kind of where it is?
I think that's part of it. I think part of it is also, honestly, 14 is the property that makes Square Enix most of its money.
Sure.
If you think that there's another Square Enix property that's making them more money than 14, you are incorrect. 14 makes them most of their money.
Sure. And
so getting more people, both introducing the 14 player base.
You want more people to be playing 14. Yeah.
Right. And having it work both ways. I think there is also this other thing where they're just Final Fantasy fans. Like, they love all the Final Fantasy games, and so for them, this is kind of the opportunity to, like, be told that it's okay to play around in the fandom sandbox, which I think is fun.
The fan box?
Yeah, the fan box. Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm more.
They better love Final Fantasy VIII.
Also, mechanically they play different. Kind of. That's one of the big things that's changing in Evercold is that we are getting a more active combat system called Evolved Mode.
They're changing the combat system?
We have seen some examples. We got no new examples in Berlin, which is why I didn't put in the notes. But there is a more active system that involves like active dodging and has different positionals like to the left and the right of enemies as opposed to just behind or to the side. So there is, it is in no way the same.
Sure.
But we are heading in a more active direction for some of it, for some classes at least. And we'll need to see more, but there is some amount of like the real-time turn-based thing.
I imagine most people in the chats for our channel are Final Fantasy 14 heads outside of all of the other Final Fantasies. Yeah. But I want to make a question to Brad and Janet who can answer live. Outside of 14 and outside of 7, what are your favorite Final Fantasies? And the reason I ask is if we get a lot of them in fast order, I want to see if Will could figure out a way that would make a fun interaction with 14.
So there are already we just had an entire expansion based on 9. We have an entire raid series based on tactics and 11 tactics and 12. Excuse
12?
me.
12. Okay. 9.
6 is we just had Kefka.
You sure can.
Yeah.
Yep. 6 already happened.
6 already happened. 1 is sort of like deeply enmeshed. 4 is in there. Crystal Chronicles is
6, 7.
Weird, but I guess kind of in there. Stranger of Paradise, we fought Chaos. So there's like a lot of too real, Andy. There's a lot of things that repeat, like Chaos as an enemy is in there repeatedly.
Yeah.
Right? Or like we've just fought Golbez or
I love this. Evan's like, I only played 15, so 15.
Yeah. There's a 15, there's a blatant is there a 15 crossover? I think there's.
Well, in Tekken there is.
Yes.
Is there not? Isn't what's his name in Tekken?
15 is Road Trip. I'm thinking of 13. I'm thinking 13 doesn't have.
Oh, 15's Road Trip.
Yeah.
15's
Road Trip. 16's
Tekken
Game of
thing.
Thrones.
Yeah.
And we've had we've had a 15, a 16, an 11,
so
and
no
11 crossover.
No 8.
8 is not as prevalent, although Triple Triad is a very big part of the game.
Yeah, okay, so that's kind of the thing. Yeah,
it's kind of the
I need Gunblades back in my life.
There's a Gunblade class.
Okay, so they've pulled things.
That's right.
They haven't done a this is the Final Fantasy VIII event.
No, but they've done things like, okay, so there's a raid series in Shadowbringers called Eden, which has a lot of 8 participation in. Not everything
People are saying that
is like this is the crossover with this thing. Sometimes it's like, hey, here's the story. It happens to involve Omega, right, as a character. And so now it has homages back to Omega in other games and the way that Omega interacts with the Final Fantasy lore as a whole. And sometimes it's a callback to a specific game, and sometimes it's a callback in general.
Yeah.
And this is just the unusual case because it's Cloud and Sephiroth and Tifa and Barrett and everybody else that we're getting like a specific, like, hey, this is the crossover with Final Fantasy VII. Here you go. Because there's a new Final Fantasy VII game coming out.
Side note, if people are liking conversations specifically about 7, 8, and 9, Jay, a friend of the show, Jay Mate over at Second Wind, has been doing playthroughs and sort of design analyses of someone who has not played those games before.
Yeah.
They are excellent, and I suggest you go check those out if that is your cup of tea, because they are super fun, and it made me want to go back and play them, though I will never have time.
Yep.
He's actually, I believe, now on Symphony of the Night, which is my jam, and I will boot that up again. What was I going to say? Oh, my favorite Final Fantasy crossover is coming down the pipe. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, and that'll be Tifa in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Like, I don't even want, like Cloud and Tekken would make sense, or Soul Calibur. But I was like, out of all of the Final Fantasy characters that I know, I think Tifa makes the most sense in Street Fighter.
I agree.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do like one of the old pixel ones,
or one of the old brawlers. But sorry, I'm getting off of the topic at hand. Is there anything else from Berlin, or do we want to go to the other?
Well,
this
this was announced at Berlin, actually.
Okay.
They announced that the Final Fantasy XIV Switch 2 port is now live. So this is important. For 2 reasons. One, it's on the Switch 2, which is a triumph of optimization. And 2, it now means that Final Fantasy XIV can be played on any platform that's not mobile.
The only problem with this is you need to buy it again, and you need Nintendo Online.
You do not need Nintendo Online.
Oh, you don't?
They cut a special deal. You need a specific subscription, but you do not need a Nintendo Online account. And if
so you can buy the game and then do a specific subscription to Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes. And if you are already subscribed to Final Fantasy XIV, you get a discount on that subscription.
If I had it, and I don't anymore because my trial ran out, so Drailer Swift is sitting calmly in an inn, I believe, right now. Mm-hmm. If I were to up or change my account to be this account and get it on the Switch 2, right?
Yep.
Would I then also be able to log in on the PC version that I already have, or no?
You would need 2 subscriptions, one for the PC and one for the Switch. That's unique for the Switch.
Yeah,
if you own it on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, you have one subscription that lets you log in from anywhere. The subscription to the game is sort of the stand-in for the fact that you don't need online.
I think I did get it on PlayStation. Did I not? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Because you can play on controller.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's interesting. And, like, the logistics of the money aside, because there's some weirdness with Nintendo and Square and everything else, it's really cool that there is one MMO, a tab-targeted MMO, that is available on all these platforms now.
Here's a question. Do we know if the port is touchscreen compatible?
To the best of my knowledge, it is not, but I have not seen anything specifically on that.
Because I could see a version of this game.
Nevik says it is.
That's pretty dope. Mm-hmm. And you can use the Switch 2 controller as a mouse if you really want to.
Yep. But you also don't need to because the entire game is built from the ground up to be played on controller.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. It's funny. This is a thing I would try again if there was like a free trial type thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to do it because I just don't have time to play it. There's nothing against the game, right?
Yeah. I don't have all the information that Generic Blue is asking about with the versions. I haven't looked into it because it hasn't particularly interested me, but there are answers to all of these questions.
I appreciate the level of, this is so funny because it's sort of a snake eating its own tail or like backwards sort of thing. I appreciate the level of accessibility in the way that you can play this game. I also find it incredibly confusing, almost Destiny 2 levels of confusing prior to its end, of like what you need to do to play what, when, and where.
And
like,
it doesn't help that the Mog Station sucks.
I don't even remember what that is.
Mog Station is the back end to like run your account and what you have on your account.
Yeah.
Right? So like which edition of which expansion you have with like what subscription and all of that, that's all in the Mog Station.
Generic, if I have time to try this thing, I will. I will go back. I've got to say, I don't know who here was around for when it was a charity reward, right? I played as many hours as thousands of dollars for a charity.
Yep.
Which maybe we'll do that again at some point because Drailer's there. I had a blast. Like the thing that made me wish I had time to do this was honestly you all in the community that Will and you have all built. That's the thing that made me excited about it. The game is good and I like the story. But that's the one like itch that I'm always kind of trying to scratch.
Yep. Importantly, by the way, more important, anyone can port a game to a system badly. The Switch 2 port's actually pretty good, and it did have a major problem till last night. The major problem was that loading was taking forever. So they took the entire game down for emergency maintenance last night and fixed it for the Switch 2. And now Switch 2 loads, I'm not kidding, faster than my PC does. I have no idea what they did, but the loads are now like for
I wonder if they gave it
in cities are virtually instant.
I wonder if they gave them sort of like almost like a fast pass.
Kind of. We're not sure what they did, but it was both a Switch 2 update and a server-side update. But it is truly wild. They are really committed to making this work, because they could have just been like, sorry, that's a limitation. The Switch 2 sucks, right? But also, it's also important to know, by the way, they're not charging people the subscription fee for the first month, because they're like, hey, there are going to be problems. We're just giving it. We're giving, like, if you buy the game, you get the subscription free.
That says they believe in it. That says that they...
Well, they also need a player base to test things. So...
Well, yeah, but also, like, look, I know that there are versions of MMOs on mobile and you know, you can play things on the Steam Deck and all that jazz.
Yeah.
This feels like the first attempt at, and I mean this lovingly, getting normies who play on the Switch 2 to play this game.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's great. As I've gotten older, I've constantly said I think the only way I'd be able to truly engage with an MMO is if it was portable.
Yep. Yeah. I'm very excited. So.
Are you gonna give it a test?
Probably not. Honestly, I don't. I have a Switch.
I know you have no use case. I was saying just like to try it if it's free to try.
I will see how much it would cost me to get it, but I think it would be like $60 or $70 to like try it, and that's not worth it for me right now. I have Magic cards to buy. More on that later. Okay, that is unfortunately the end of our good news, which means it's time to continue on with our show as we begin Gaming the Law. Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's not, there it is.
That.
Well, break this one down.
Okay, so y'all remember Diamond Comics? You probably don't. You probably don't remember the name Diamond Comics because it wasn't a thing that like interacted with the public very much, but you definitely know Paizo. And you probably know Avatar Press. And you might know Udon or Green Ronin or Action Lab Comics. Diamond was a major distributor for all of these properties. And then they went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. And one of the problems that they had was that because they were a major distributor for all of these properties, when they went bankrupt, they had a warehouse full of this crap. Full of crap from all of those companies. Specifically, and this pertains a lot to the Pathfinder crew, a lot of Paizo merch. There was a lot of Paizo stuff in that warehouse.
Yeah.
So, the bottom line is that the estate, the what remains of Diamond as a group that has declared bankruptcy and was absorbed by, oh God, who were they absorbed by? Another group called Sparkle Pop, who's a subsidiary of the holding company Ad Populum.
Great.
Yo, dude, I don't make these names up. Has reached a deal with all of these groups that have these consignments in the warehouse. So we are getting motion on that, which is, I think, good. There's a story from Comics Beat. You can read the whole thing, but basically, this is motion on a thing that has been more or less deadlocked for longer than I can remember. And I think that's good. All of these companies are suffering. The each member of the group is waiving some amount of.
Sure. You can go in the show notes on Comic Beat. They basically break down both what was collected and what sort of was being, I don't know if the word's withheld or like the things that like basically what's in this warehouse and who's getting what money, why.
Yes, correct. And so hopefully things will start getting freed up and Paizo will get back to the business of Paizoing and Pathfinder 2ing and all of those things. That's the real hope, is that there's no good like financial recovery from this, but getting the stuff back and getting through this and no longer being actively in litigation would be a huge boon to this entire chunk of the industry that's been affected by
I think we might have brought this up, Mirith, in our Dungeons and Disasters episode, because I think that there's something having to do with Diamond in that. God, everything is a blur. But I do believe we mentioned it in at least one or two of the animated episodes.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of legalese and a bunch of corporate bankruptcy law that I don't understand nor will pretend to. But there's motion, and you can read the full text of the law stuff in the Comic Speak article in the show notes if you would like to.
Yeah. Next story is interesting.
Yeah.
So there's this little thing that we used for a while and now no longer do, called StreamElements. And now they have been acquired by Razer, the peripheral mouse keyboard. I don't even know what else they build things. Headset, shiny LED lights bolted to every piece of tertiary equipment you have.
Yep.
I have nothing against Razer. Razer's fine. Like I have no qualm. This to me sounds like precedent would tell me it's bad. But there's also, I think, a bit of good news sort of struck into here, right? Like, because StreamElements has not been profitable for a very long time.
That's correct. They've tried a bunch of stuff to become profitable, and it turns out that on a corporate level, it is virtually impossible to make streaming as an industry profitable. It doesn't work. It works for individual creators sometimes. Yeah. And by individual creators, I mean people in the top 3%.
Yeah.
Between 3 and 5%. The bottom 95% of streamers go negative. Right?
Yeah.
And like that's just how it works.
Yeah, there's more supply than demand.
Correct. Significantly so. The zero viewer hell is real and it will eat many streamers. The weirdness with this is that StreamElements for a while had something that they thought was going to bail them out, which is that they were the exclusive distributors of sponsorships through Twitch. So for a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Twitch had a thing called the Bounty Board where people would pay Twitch to offer sponsorships to streamers directly. And then that didn't really work. And StreamElements had a thing where they would have, with a little broader reach, would do sponsorship sort of assignment placement for things like Raid Shadow Legends or Marvel Puzzle Quest, or, you know, choose the mobile game, Star Trek Fleet Command, right? World of Warships. Pick your thing that you've seen or heard an ad read for.
Yeah.
They distributed a lot of those. And then Twitch wanted to bring that in-house because Twitch got tired of not making a cut of all of those sponsorship deals, which, okay, fine, Twitch, shut up, but they weren't getting a cut of the sponsorship deals. So they started trying to bring that in-house with StreamElements, and then something happened, and that's really when StreamElements started tanking, and they started not paying out to creators. My guess here is it's not only that Razer is one of the better companies to, like, maybe acquire them. I'm willing to bet Razer didn't pay a lot. Because don't think StreamElements is worth a whole lot right now. They've shot their brand credibility. They don't really offer anything that you can't get anywhere else for free now.
Yeah, but they also, one thing that is built into this is they built into the price of acquisition money to go out to pay all the people that did not get the bounties or payouts that they did. So now that Razer has acquired them, that money will go to the people that it's supposed to go to. So that's a small win.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a fan of acquisition, but I also think that StreamElements would have just died had Razer not bought it for like pennies on the dollar. And the reason why I think that's not necessarily a bad thing is, don't get me wrong, I think that OBS is doing truly a phenomenal job at holding up the entire streaming industry based off of one single Patreon and a team of like 3 people. Yeah. But that's not sustainable, like in the long run. Like there will be a time when that goes. And so like, I'm not saying like this is a thing to jump to by any means of the imagination. I don't think they have a proven track record to make it remotely safe to do so. But I like the idea of there being someone else in the game.
There isn't, unfortunately. And that's where I have to issue a minor correction. The StreamElements team built an add-on for OBS.
Oh, well then we're still screwed. But
correct. Just like StreamLabs is just a fork of the OBS project. OBS is load-bearing, unfortunately. And to be fair to their Patreon and to that crew, everyone in the streaming game knows it, and they do get some amount of corporate sponsorship from like other companies to be like, hey, we need you to exist. And having, I actually talked with Red at your wedding about how OBS is now becoming load-bearing for the film industry as well. Like, I cannot stress enough how much this stupid open source program that does everything is like a toothpick holding up an inverted pyramid of the world.
Anyone who does any sort of either live streaming or at this point sort of like visual media motion picture movie films should be throwing OBS $5 a month.
Yeah.
Like I know times are tight. The OBS will be the if like, you know, if purse strings are crunched, my Patreons and I have to start picking and choosing, OBS will be among the last to go.
Yeah. OBS is one of those like real open source projects that is holding up part of the internet. And yes, Blender's the other one, chat. Blender does everything that OBS doesn't do, and OBS does everything that Blender doesn't do, and between the two of them, you're fine. So I think it's
VLC is also great.
Yeah, VLC, OpenSSL, GCC, yeah. So I think this acquisition is probably okay. I do agree with Matt's assessment that if they didn't get acquired, they were just going to go under. And I do think that it's important that we have companies that are competing with each other, because otherwise you get things like just Streamlabs, and just Streamlabs is like not ideal.
Well, and perhaps this will give some runway to, I don't know what the answer to this is, but I'm not these companies, so it's not my job. Like making something that they offer be profitable.
Yeah.
Like right now it's not, but like I could see
the other problem is that it's very hard to judge profitability on streaming itself when what streaming serves as in a lot of cases is advertising.
Okay, so I mean, not to get too far into the weeds of our own stuff, but that's truly how we like if you're looking at the dollars to donuts that Twitch and or the streaming shows bring into our studio, it doesn't break even. But what it does is allows us to do things that are bigger swings. Having Will with us all the time and being able to produce live content and all of that jazz is invaluable, and therefore in the how do I put it, in the business structure that we have built, even though the line item is a loss, we can still look at it and say, no, these other gains would not have happened had this not been here.
Right.
So like that's where streaming kind of lies in our level, and honestly almost every level, unless you're looking at like Game Awards level style stuff.
Yeah. Also,
don't forget to re-up your Twitch subscriptions and do all the things, and don't YouTube memberships.
Yeah. Also, salutes to
Yeehaw.
Tawny Codecat. As someone who works on OBS, you don't have to worry. There's no way OBS is ever getting acquired. Good.
No. It's not about being acquired. That's the thing, Tawny. Like, I truly believe that everyone at OBS has the best case scenario at heart, and they really want to keep it moving. And this is important. They see what this is for the industry. People get old. That's not a slight to anyone. That is a fact of life. And if you don't have, and maybe there is a succession plan, maybe there is all this stuff, but inevitably, that's my worry, right? Like when you only have one thing, that's one simple vector that has to go wrong, as opposed to an industry. Again, it's why I don't like monopolies. Granted, this is an open source one, and that's the best kind. But it's just a.
Yeah.
I love how everyone's like, we get old.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert for life. God, I was at.
I like this take. Hold on. To maintain OBS, we've begun to work on immortality.
That's great.
Open source immortality.
It's so funny. I was at a birthday party for one of my friend's kids last night, and it was just a bunch of middle-aged men essentially in a room talking about media, and I was just listening to the way my friends talk about media, and this is no slight to them, but like it was it was both the argument of everything, the way that like media literacy and things is so bad these days, and like what's being popular is kind of silly, but then also like just pure yelling at cloud. And I had to stop and be like, guys, we're yelling on the front porch right now. Like this, like it doesn't even matter if we're correct or not. Like we need to have a little more, a little more compassion and respect for the up and comers. It was very funny. It was a very humanizing moment.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep rolling because we got more stories, and I overplanned this episode because
that's okay. If this one goes a little over, it's totally fine. Because after this, we're going to be playing, I believe, Destiny, unless we want to check out Token Fighter, which did get delivered. I saw, so we can figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, so in Japan, we spin the globe. TCGs are a big deal. Pokemon specifically, but TCGs in general.
Yeah,
so big a deal that the Japanese government is now having to set up a specific task force, a working group in their parliament to work on the problems of TCGs in Japan, which is bananas.
Yeah.
There's now an entire, there are increasing problems with counterfeiting, with scalping, with unruly behavior based on people not getting the thing that they want. Like it's not great. And if you think it's both better and worse, right? There are like more social norms that prohibit people from being absolute jerkuses in Japan than there are in the United States. Looking at you, dude with a scale in the store weighing Pokemon packs, get the hell out of here. But there are more TCGs in Japan. And so it's a big problem. Among those is this new push that is a little dystopic on its face.
What would that be?
There's gonna be facial recognition to buy Pokemon cards, and I don't.
I don't like it. I'll say it. I'll say it right now. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
What's another way to fight scalpers? I have an idea.
What is your
It's not
idea?
great, but like if we're going to throw money at things like facial scanning technology, could we just throw money at employing more people to work at the stores?
Probably.
Like, why not? Like, I know, listen, I know that is a naive statement, But think about the complexity that is needed to run facial scanning technology. Couldn't we just take that energy?
So I also want to be clear that these are related stories from two different sides. The working group is proposing legislation and things that will help on a national level with all TCGs. Facial scanning specifically. Oh, we're getting package ripping ASMR now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I got excited.
I know you did.
God damn
It's
it.
punching. What, Jamie? What?
It's always a TCG case.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. The facial scanning specifically is from the Pokemon Company to get entry into a Pokemon Company store. That you're only allowed to be in one visit per person per day to help cut down on scalping, to prevent people from doing the thing where they go and they buy the maximum number of things that you're allowed to buy in a visit and then go get back in line and then do it again.
Yeah.
So there are two different angles, but like they sort of come back to the same point, which is that there is a cultural problem with the way that TCGs are perceived and sold and marketed, and this is part of that, even if it's not a governmental origin.
There's a lot of people bringing up stuff in the comments that make a lot of good points as well. As a retail person, I can guarantee a lot of people working these kinds of stores have the mindset of I'm not paid enough to care about that. Yeah, then pay them more, right? Like I agree. I don't think I would care at the rate that people are being paid. But again, if you're paying for facial recognition software somewhere down the line, that needs to be somewhere else. Also, because loss prevention training for retail is often racist, if you're trying to stop people from making multiple purchases, it actually makes it worse because you can just wait for a different cashier. Again, I agree with that entirely. I just think there's effort being put into one side of this that makes things worse. I wish people would have, and it's not people, it's not a specific store, it's like policy. Like, again, this is naive, but again, it's not my job to figure this out. I'm just spitballing ideas. You make it, if you're going to sell TCG packs, you need to have a certain number of employees at the ready. Like, it's almost, I'm sure there's things in different countries and stuff for like gambling and casinos, like what you need to have for what and when, right? Like, and I'm not saying that this is exactly the same, but if you're going to regulate something along those lines, having things put into place to protect consumers and the industry.
Yeah.
And I know that even if it costs the exact same amount of money, they're going to go with facial recognition because then they don't have to deal with a person. I just think it's better if you deal with people.
I agree. And there's lots of good observations in chat about quantities of cards being printed and whatnot. The reminder that the key culprit to this is the Pokemon TCG, and they have run out of entire shipments before, and this is the Pokemon Company. The problem is probably not that they don't want to print more. It's probably that there isn't enough capacity to print more.
Yeah. 29. I live in a more rural part of Japan where Pokemon cards are behind the counter and rationed like 4 packs per person. Japan is much more willing to ration than the US. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Can I issue the spiciest idea?
Yeah.
TCG packs are gambling. Pretty straightforward, right? You are betting a certain amount on objects of an uncertain secondary market value within. Why not just legislate that they need to be controlled like gambling? Scratchers.
Well, I mean, you know why. You know why.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of people making a whole bunch of money and they don't want it to be.
Yeah, they'd make less money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, but like...
But again, that's where regulation comes in. That's where...
Yeah.
No, I think this is a...
We would also need to do the same thing for sports cards. Yes. But if we're like... I guess my other point is that if we're going to push all of these restrictions and legislations around digital gambling, which, yes, is not identical, right? The ways that digital gambling on things like gacha games and loot boxes are more instant gratification. It's easier to pull the trigger for hundreds of dollars accidentally or in a moment of, like, impulse spending, right? Like, it's way easier than to drive to the store and get a booster box or whatever. And it's money in only, so like it's again not identical. But if we're gonna build in all those protections, if we're gonna worry that much about that, we should also be worrying about TCGs and the ways that they are having a cultural impact, and the way that, like, Japan, the hub is probably the country with the most TCG investment per capita.
Yeah.
They're having this huge problem. We should be aware of that and take the same kind of steps for TCGs that we're willing to take for loot boxes and for...
And like, I get the idea of, because the kid in me and the choice monger in me wants to be like, no, I love magic packs. I love sort of like essentially at a drugstore, turn the crank after 25 cents, or it probably costs $1 now. Like, get the random toy that drops out of the thing. Like,
yeah.
there is a joy to randomization in general, right? Like, because when it depending on your buy-in, like if you miss, it's not that bad, and if you hit, it feels great, right? Where it turns into gambling, I think, is when the thing that is, whether or not it's intended or not, but when the market for the thing that is basically randomized becomes out of essentially the creator's hands. Like, the creator could pull levers to adjust things, of course, but like, I'm going to speak in Magic cards, but I feel like Pokemon cards are the same thing, right? Because the idea of the business model of a Pokemon card or a Magic card is there are so many sets that come out every year because the companies that own them need to make money, so they adjust the game to make new things hit for those games. Like, and they basically want an influx of people buying the thing. And they make sure that the most recent thing is the thing that is hopefully the most relevant for the most amount of people playing the game.
Yes.
Essentially, truly, every one of us could stop buying new Pokemon and Magic cards and still have near infinite numbers of decks we could build with what is available now, and have a very good time and do whatever.
This is demonstrably true in Magic. There is a format that is all cards that have already been... It's a locked format called pre-modern,
yeah.
And no new cards are introduced to that format ever. And it's still a thriving format.
But this is my point, and I think Sultan's actually hitting this, right? This is where I'm getting to, Sultan. If you don't want, the joy of randomization always feels extremely dangerously addictive, especially when there's a pull per cost connected to it, and this makes me really against it. Yes, this is where I'm going. The randomization, I go back to the machine outside a drugstore for like the gumball machines, right? Like, that's something where the action of it is not dependent on you doing it all the time, and it's not the most fun thing. It's like a kind of small thing that you do, and like, oh, it's a throwaway thing, and the cost is low. What these essentially institutions for cracking packs of game cards or collectible baseball cards or whatever cards that have a monetary value is, it's taking that simple thing at a low cost and turning it into an addictive thing at a mid to high cost. And that is where I think more regulation should be put into place, because it's you just can't say it's not gambling with the point of you continuing to gamble. Like, the business model is you continuing to buy the random things. It's not a one and done random thing. So if that's the business model, and the interesting thing, especially in the US, and I've noticed this across the last 8 years-ish, maybe really 4, but it could bleed back and forth. The personal online gambling market. This was way earlier. Let's back up. I like going to a casino from time to time. It's one of the only things me and my father kind of have in common, and we take trips and we go see shows and we like go to, like, that's just sort of a thing we do from time to time. I never gamble with much money because I don't have it, but I like playing blackjack. I like doing that stuff. And you go in with a specific amount of money, and I know that there's addictive things in here. For me, it works and it's okay. But what I noticed in the last 10-ish years, let's say, it used to be you had to go to Native American reservations around where I am, Foxwoods, Mohegan Sun, that's where it was legal to do this. There are now casinos open near my hometown. There's one in New York now. There's one in like gambling has become so legalized. It has become, in my opinion, dangerous. And that's not even counting, case in point, one of my favorite malls growing up, where I was a mall rat, now has a casino in it.
Yeah.
And it's like that. sucks.
Same, actually. There is
Like-
there's one in one of the malls where I was a mall rat.
And there's this normal, like, because what I liked about going to a reservation or something like that is like it takes time. You can't just walk out your door and go to it. Like you have to plan for it. It limits it. It's the ball machine outside the drugstore, right? But when the second you make it ubiquitous, and I'm not even talking about Kelshi and DraftKings. I saw, oh God, there was a commercial on a podcast I listened to for Rebel betting, and it was like the dumbest, like, yeah, you want to bet like a rebel, and it's like this, like it's totally, it's awful. But like the online gambling at this point is rampant, and those, like, that all gets away with it now. So what hope, at least in the United States, do trading cards, TCGs, collectibles have? I like that Japan's trying to do something.
They're like, this is a small bite of a very large problem.
But I feel like the only thing that has ever sort of floated, at least in the last year and a half, is facial recognition.
Yeah. Maybe let's not give everyone all the biometrics, because
I like this. Amy Daynow, finally, gambling for men. It's like,
yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're talking about this too long. It's just, Will, your spicy take, in my opinion, is correct and really not that spicy.
Yeah. I think a lot of people compartmentalize it away from that because they don't like it.
Well, because let's finish off this story with this. I agree with you. We are going to have to come to terms over the next couple years. The things in the industry that we do not like, that are bad, that we could kind of keep in the periphery for a long time, are creeping forward due to massive consolidation.
Yep.
Look at Sony. Look at Xbox. Look at the way that TCGs are being handled in this capacity.
Yep.
There are multiple good things about all of those activities, but it's getting harder and harder to ignore the bad. And I think we're all going to have to come to terms with what we engage with moving forward. And everyone, there's no like moral high ground here. It's just like, I think we can, it's going to be harder to compartmentalize moving forward.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Matt.
Hi.
We have a chance that we don't normally have. You want to do some fake ads for things we can't buy for the second ad break on Twitch because we're going
Sure,
so
it's
long?
an extra long episode of Games for Breakfast.
Yeah, right. Okay. So Twitch chat's about to get ads for things they can buy, and hopefully not too many of them are for gambling sites. Given, yeah, right. So we're gonna do fake ads for things you can't buy. I can go. I think
Here we go. You go. Ready?
Yeah, okay.
Here come music now. Wee.
Hi everyone. Tired from Will credits here. Joined next to Awake Matt from also credits. Consider sleep. What if good sleep? Get good sleep. You can't buy it. You can pay money to try and get it, but nope. Got good sleep, priceless. Get good sleep, not bad sleep, not sleep full of weird dreams about stuff and also things. Get good sleep, and you will feel more like a human. If anyone knows how to do that, help. Please give now. Thank you for your time.
I'm going to piggyback. Hey, everyone. Super awake Matt from Extra Credits next to Sleepy Weepy Will over here. Listen, Will said that he's really tired and needs sleep. What if, instead of gambling, every time you booted up Kelshi or DraftKings or whatever the Rebel Bets, whatever the hell it is, you instead took a 5-minute nap? Why not just disco nap whenever you think you're going to spend your money on a gambling app? Heck, even maybe whittle down your pack cracking in anything that you crack packs in. Hell, you could even not bet on sports games. I know, it's crazy. Just take a nap. If you're like, oh, I bet you I can make a bunch of... And then you'll feel great, like me.
You good? Did you just use the last of your energy doing that? Okay, great. Awesome.
The energy's not gone yet, Will.
Okay, great. That is true. The streamer is EP and requires a small sleep.
Who can nap for only 5 minutes? Professionals.
That's true.
No, technically the best kind of nap is a disco nap, and I think that's around 40 minutes. I know it differs for people, but that's my favorite.
You can do the you can also do, what is it? There's a sleep schedule that a whole bunch of people I knew tried in college, where like you only sleep for like an hour every like 6 hours, and then you just do that forever. It doesn't really work like at all in any way, but they tried it.
My cat is sleeping now to prepare for 5 hours of gambling on it.
This is correct. Yeah. Yeah, right. No, that's correct. And then you died. That's true. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What's the next story?
Well, the next story, Matt, is you, because it's time for today's matinee.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. Hey, it's a brand new day, everybody. I went and saw the Spider-Man movie, and boy, oh boy, was it the most Spider-Man movie that has ever Spoodermaned. No spoilers here. I'm not going to spoil a single thing. Here's what I want to say. This is a thumbnail from a podcast episode that we'll be dropping Saturday on Nebula and Sunday on the regular, the only podcast about movies feed, where Shahir and myself and guest friend of the show, Jonathan Blade, go over all things Brand New Day. Now, this movie slaps. This movie, it might not be my favorite Spider-Man movie. I think that still goes to Spider-Man 2 because I'm an old man. But this is, and I say this with no irony, the movie that feels the most like a comic book. We've had tons of comic book movies, and the MCU has taken a slurry approach of just throwing characters together in both the Spider-Man, the Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home like trilogy, and across the MCU of just like mashing the action figures together, which has become a staple in the MCU. But there's a certain value to how this movie does it with Hulk and Punisher and a few other characters that really harkens back to how why characters in a comic book are added to a person's story. So like, I don't know how many people read comics or graphic novels from Marvel or DC when there's a bunch of crossovers. But normally, if there's a character in there, because it doesn't cost Marvel anything to put Punisher in a Spider-Man comic, but it would cost, for instance, movie studios, Marvel, Sony to deal with Spider-Man and then deal with the Punisher IP and get John Bernthal over here. Like, it's far more, there's more corpo math when it's a movie, and therefore I feel like the narrative structure as to the why gets buried by the how. Here, everything is balanced. Like, I saw the trailers for this and I was like, oh, Hulk is in it. Oh, Punisher's in it. Okay, well, I don't even, whatever. This movie feels like they picked the right characters for the arc that Peter Parker is going through. There is true heart. There is true, this movie lets you have a lot of different cake and eat it too. There's flaws in it, and I can't really go into those flaws without spoiling, so I won't. But if you are a fan of comic books, not even Spider-Man movies in general, I really do think this film is worth your time. Oh, and another reason why I think it feels so complete is there is so much practical stunt work here and actual sets, it actually feels real. Like, one of the things that I had a real problem with with the Home trilogy was everything was shot on Luma screens or green screens. Like, even down to like, Peter Parker standing in a graveyard. Like, it's flat lit. There's no shadows. You know they're not in a graveyard. Like, it's just like whatever. Here, they actually go to actual locations, and it feels like New York City. Here's my one super minor spoiler. You know how at the end, under credits, they have like, the last three movies had like stylized like scribbles, like when it says Tom Holland, Zendaya, you know, whatever. This was just a wonderful documentary artist. I can't remember the name. Just shots of New York, like actual, like filming moments of all around New York that, as someone who lives in the city, felt real and placed, and it felt like summertime in New York. And it was like, it's well worth sticking through the credits. I'm getting a little misty thinking about it. It's a phenomenal film. I think it is worth your time. This has been the non-spoiler movie matinee for Spooderman Brand Now Dow.
And yes, chat, the best part of the Spooderman movie is when Tom Holland yelled, "I'm gonna spooter," and then spootered all over those people.
Yeah. Oh, also, it is not... 1 second. The plot is not this. The plot is not this. It is a new story. There are elements a little bit from it, but it is not this.
Okay.
So if you don't like this, don't worry.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We got 4 stories left. We got this. We got the lock in. Everybody lock in. You're going to need to, because it's time for we finally made it to the bad news. Okay.
Oh man, there's bad news?
Yeah, there's bad news.
I was hoping if we just talked about Spider-Man long enough,
No.
we'd hold on to the wings of an eagle.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So
Shit!
yeah, no, that's correct. That's yep. Yeah.
Well, it's done.
Yeah, EA is officially now owned by Saudi Arabia and Jared Kushner. And
Granted, Jared Kushner only owns like 7%, but
yeah.
that's too many percents.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, can I say the personal silver lining of this story?
Sure.
I was already boycotting EA games.
Yeah, I know that's true. Yeah,
but
right.
that does not help the industry or anyone else.
Correct. This is not bad for us individually, because I know plenty of people weren't buying EA games, right? The problem is the math. So the math is that they have promised that one of the ways that they're going to help deal with the cost, because remember, a whole bunch of this was debt financing that EA absorbed to get sold. Don't think about that. Don't, okay? Is that they would cut $700 million in annual costs.
Cool.
That's not a real number.
No.
Right? They're cutting 700. This is a bloodbath. This is no developers are going to work at EA anymore. This is the industry is about to lose so much talent, right? This is not good. This is incredibly, absurdly not good.
It's so funny because we often see so much in consolidation. Big company buying smaller company, like that started up to do the thing bigger company did, but better, and then they buy it to basically shitify it, right? Like it's normally like mid company to small company does this. We're now at the end game where big company is doing it to big company, or big government entity is doing it to big company. Like I don't think anyone involved in this acquisition has, based on precedent, any overall driving force to make video games or the creation of them better.
Yep.
This is at best essentially a money-making and or a little bit laundering scheme, right? At worst, it is trying to buy culture and in a way kind of succeeding.
Yep, I agree.
I am super sad about this because, like, and yes, there's been rumors of some looking to sell off BioWare, which I think is the best case scenario for BioWare, to be honestly, like get out and get bought. Yeah, video games as investment, Ryan, which I think is absolutely counterintuitive, and the antithesis of what makes a good video game. Video games, this is a weird statement, but it goes back to the story that we were just talking about TCGs. Video games are not TCGs. There are video games that are TCGs, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there's like, you can play a speculative game of nonsense and make a bunch of money with a TCG or something that involves a gambling mechanic. Right now, it's like they're trying to do that, but like how much money can be extracted from something before it goes belly up.
Yep.
But the difference is you're playing with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people's income and lives. I know I'm conflating a couple things here. I'm just sort of trying to grasp the severity of this. It's funny. It was between this and the RAM and the memory shortage of 2027 being the main story in the thumbnail. And like this one, I'm glad we're actually talking about like nearly 2 hours in, because it's the depressing one. Like the other one's depressing, like, but there's the memory shortage is depressing based on the fact that like we can't get hardware and therefore we won't be able to play the newest games, but that's okay because there's probably some ingenuity and a back catalog and a bunch of other things that we can kind of keep going with. This is depressing, but I have trouble, outside of not already buying EA games, I know a lot of people do, seeing any sort of silver lining here.
Yeah, agreed. It's just bad.
Like I anticipate that the brain drain here will be so bad that this like EA will continue to lose money over the next 5 years, not be a cultural touch point, not release something that is moving the needle anywhere. And then somewhere down the line, it will be sold again. And the people in these investment firms, Saudi Arabia, Jared Kushner, like whatever, will make money on the downswing.
Yep.
They'll have destroyed something and made a profit off of it.
That seems correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Can't wait for the Matt was right short in 5 years. Boy, oh boy, I can. Anyway.
Let's talk about being not intelligent.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yeah. So we even have Bobby Hill Propane Demigod in chat, which is great.
Amazing.
Okay, so imagine that you're a company that has offices all over the place, including in Sweden.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
Okay, great. Awesome. Now imagine that the workers in Sweden, a European country famous for its union laws and union protections, come to you and say, hey, we'd like to collectively bargain. And you say, nah, we're good. Are you...
There we go. The pact is fulfilled, by the way. Thank you, Daft. I think that was Daft, right?
Yeah. Are you stupid? So that's what happened to King. King has offices all over the place, including, but not limited to, Sweden. And the workers in their Swedish office filed a collective bargaining agreement requested under the Swedish trade union. I'm not going to try and pronounce that.
Oh, why not?
Because it would be insulting to everyone in the country of Sweden. Wait,
I want to try.
Okay, great. Awesome.
The Swedish trade unions, Unionen, and
yeah,
Sveriges Ingenjörner. Is that
sure?
Is that?
Yeah, I don't think either of those was right.
Sleepy Panda, give me a percentage. Give me a percentage.
Yeah, grass and Sleepy Panda, percentages, please. 2%. Great, excellent. J is Y. Okay.
Oh, J is Y. 2%. Yeah, I only have the Swedish chef. That's really all I can do.
Okay, great. Actually, you know what? Grass says they knew what you were trying to say. So you know what?
Okay.
Wasn't the worst.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, cool. 64%. Okay, great.
Ingenjörner.
All right, cool. So
God, I wish I could speak.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool to like be able to say that correctly.
Yeah. Okay. So the best part about this is the letter that the CEO of King sent out. Okay. And I've got some quotes. While entering into a CBA doesn't prevent us continuing offering the same benefits, it will require us to change the structure of the benefits we offer, which we believe would be negative to employees in Sweden. So you're stupid, is what I'm hearing.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think they're stupid. I think that they're creatively lying. Again, actually, people that are closer to this geographic area in chat, and Brad and Janet, or if you're Rocky on Nebula and you've made it this far, first of all, thank you so much. Second of all, messages on Blue Sky about this. But like, I know that Sweden has some really, really strong, like, almost like, I don't know what to call it, but like umbrella unions, almost in a certain way, right? Like, is there any truth to anything, at least from your anecdotal experience, of what King is saying? Like, my gut, based on big company making statement, is they're full of it, right? But like, I want to make sure that like, it's just not my precedent meter going off, like, because it's not a system that I am like. We're so used to getting the boot on the neck here, like. There are some protections from boots over there, and I'm just curious if this holds any water.
Right, yeah, because also, from a logical perspective, if the employees voted collectively to have a collective bargaining agreement, they believe that you are not currently offering them adequate compensation. Union protections aside, right?
Yeah,
like
I like David's. Is this complete BS or grounded BS?
Right, yeah, right? So, like, it's not... That's not how that works, right? And then we get the more honest one, right? King believes it's, quote, current operating model is the right fit for King, including our operations in Sweden at this time. Entering into a CBA would require significant changes to how we operate in Sweden, including our processes, policies, and way of working. No, duh.
Yeah.
That's the point. So we don't wanna because we don't wanna, and no. And they're like, this is like the most transparently, stupidly evil like CEO communique on union busting I think I've seen in a very long time. And they're trying to do it to an office in Sweden. This is not intelligent.
Yeah.
They ran Tesla out of Sweden because they wouldn't work with the unions. Like, I don't understand what you think you're doing here, but you're wrong and also stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. That is, believe it or not, chat, all the bad news.
Yeah, we just have one other little fun thing.
Yeah, we got two other little fun things.
Oh, do we have two little fun things?
Yeah, we got two little fun things. We got my thing, and then we got...
Oh, we do have two little fun things!
Two little fun things. First little fun thing. It's my magical moment, yes. We have often criticized Wizards of the Coast for not listening to people, and they don't, except when they do. A couple months ago, a Secret Lair, their limited time offering came out, and it was for a Goblin Commander deck. And it was quite popular. It had really fantastic art.
I should have got that for Jamie.
Yeah, unfortunately for you.
Yeah, it's not really there anymore.
Correct. The...
yeah, what's that running?
The last check I saw was like north of $600.
Oh, people are saying the stingers are still loud. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
We've done tests upon test upon test.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's linking back again. We'll figure it out.
Those don't exist on my PC anymore, and they sound
crazy.
They sound normal to me, so I don't know. So the Goblin deck is like $400 or $500. And it originally was like $150. And And part of that was that they got snapped up immediately and people could not get them, and then they got resold on the secondary market to be way more. Now, this happens a lot of the time with Secret Lairs, but it was particularly egregious for this one because Commander is the most popular format, and people wanted to get in. Where is my hide-a-low? So they, yeah, the deck is $550 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, $550. So, this is in part due to the way that Secret Lairs have worked, which is that they print a limited quantity and then sell that limited quantity. There's an argument to be made that that limited quantity is the limited quantity that they sell and the limited quantity that they print are not identical. There have been accusations that they have been cutting off the sales at a particular period of time in an arbitrary number of sales to make it appear as though a product is more popular than it is. That's not a thing that has been confirmed or denied, but that is an accusation that's been laid. Wizards is now officially listening because they are releasing another Commander deck featuring our favorite routine guest here on Extra Credits, Hatsune Miku.
That's right.
That's right. There's a Hatsune Miku Commander deck. And that's not important. People will like or not like the Hatsune Miku Commander deck, and I'm not telling you should or shouldn't buy the Hatsune Miku Commander deck. What I am telling you is that Wizards has announced that they are changing the way that this lair drop works to be more in line with some charity lair drops that they've done in the past, which is they have pre-printed a number of these, and for the people who get them first, they will ship immediately and be available as soon as the sale ends. But they will honor all sales for the entire 24-hour ordering period.
And they'll print that many?
And then they will print that many and send them to people. They are saying that the printer estimate for that is April 2027, which is far from ideal.
But
this is progress on that front. Which
is that an interesting fix for the general malaise of the secondhand industry into like scalper territory? Like for Secret Lair specifically,
yeah.
Because it's not like it's a power thing or you need these cards to be competitive. This is skins, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something like, yeah, the weight sucks,
right.
But in order to maintain that they haven't, like, they're not printing too many for a set that might not be popular, this does seem like a way that like it could help deflate the scalper or secondhand market write-ups, because like, well, if you want them and you get them, yeah, you have to wait for them, but like rather than pay 300% the cost, you pay the cost, you just get them a little later.
Correct. And their time estimates on that have not been the worst. I ordered a Secret Lair for the women's drop. There was a charity drop, and I got a couple copies of that, and I was told that it was going to be next year before I got them, and I just got confirmation that that is not the case, that I will be getting them sooner than that. And so, okay, right? Like, we're seeing how it works. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not perfect. Secret Lair still sucks. They should all be print on demand all the time. The prices are still super high. All of those things are still true. This is not saying that Secret Lair is fixed or that it's great or anything. This is progress in a direction that I am happy to see that this announcement came with an announcement from the head of Secret Lairs, who was like, yeah, one of my jobs is to iterate on the way that we do this, that one of the things that we've been trying to do is iterate fast and fail faster and to do this thing. And so to see them have a disaster like the Goblin Commander deck, $100, the Dan deck that I got, oh God, how much is the Dan deck now? I think the Dan deck that I got for like $100 is now like several hundred, right? Like, it gives me hope that they are iterating this quickly on the problem, that they are moving in a direction that they are doing so transparently. Those are all good things, and I think we should say good job, keep going. But we need to say, like, okay, this is the kind of thing.
Great first step.
Great first step. Yeah. Cool. No, not Dan. No. Dan. It's a forget.
Like, it's so funny. Had like the Strahd Secret Lair been run like this, I probably would have bought it.
Yep.
I don't want to like fight in like a 2-minute window.
I've had to do it like when I've really
during show.
Yeah.
I know. I've been here. I feel like they'd make far more, even if it's a purely imperfect system, they'd even make more money this way. Like the company that makes them, not second-handers. Like, yeah. That guy, Jimmy, you betcha. We've been fasting for 3 weeks and we're still going. We got one more story for you before we close up the kitchenette for the day.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about public companies, about companies doing things because of their stock price, about companies being bought and sold because of their stock price. Once again, we turn to a company who will not save us, but who is leading the way to being less terrible. Our favorite, deeply unhinged game publisher, Devolver Digital, who has announced recently that they will be going private.
Well, they want to.
They want to go private. They'll probably get it. So, Devolver Digital is available on the UK AIM market.
Yeah. Side note, while Will tells his story, everyone in chat, both on Janet and Brad, give us your favorite Devolver Digital game in the chat.
Yeah. So the their assertion is that the stock price has not been good for their company, which is true. It's gone down by 96% since they launched. It's not good. The announcement from them says Devolver and its board are seeking shareholder approval to delist, believing becoming a private company is in the best interest of Devolver, its employees, its partners, and its shareholders as a whole. The purpose is simple and positive. Being private will allow the Devolver Digital team, especially the finance, legal, and executive team, to singularly focus on the long-term health of the company and thus on satisfying the requirements of the public market, which have nothing to do with being a successful game publisher. Companies are not your friends, but I would respectfully offer a crisp high five to the personification of Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
Yep. That's correct. Everything they said is true.
I love that I'm doing here. Like I've just been clicking through everyone's responses.
Yep.
And I've been trying not to double up. And I don't think I did.
Yeah.
That was easily 15 games.
Oh yeah. Devolver has a track record of bangers. Also a reminder that Devolver Digital is the company who has a completed game. There is a publisher sitting on an unannounced completed game that they will release the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6. Do you understand from a business perspective how incredibly absurd that is? It's beautiful. It is art for its own sake. They are losing money every moment that game is not generating revenue.
Yeah.
Right? And they're willing to do it because it's going to sell like hotcakes because it'll be a PC game out the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6. Because all of us PC gamers, it's just another day. Remember, it's PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
You can't get it on... It's PlayStation and Xbox. It's console exclusive. We can't get it on PC. Because they don't want us cracking it. Probably. Right?
Anyway, this is good news. It harkens back to many things we've spoken about over the last hour and a half or whatever it's been. I'm very happy to hear they're trying to do this. Hopefully it goes through and we report back in a couple weeks saying that it's a done deal and it's moving forward.
Yep. This the vote is in just over a month.
Oh, okay, so it'll be a bit.
At their shareholder meeting on September 8th. So
there we go.
Yep.
I think that's the show.
We did it. We did the show. We're sorry it was a little long, except we're not really because...
I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Not at all.
No.
People are able to pop in and out. we did the whole thing. We had a lot to cover because we were gone fasting for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it's been. So thank you everybody so much for sticking around, hanging out. Thank you for, I really liked the list of Devolver games. It reminded me just how many good times I've had with their stuff.
A reminder, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some Destiny 2 here over on Twitch. If you're over on YouTube and you want to hang out and talk while we play Destiny 2, you're more than welcome to come over. Also, if you're a fan at all of a tiny indie smash hit 1000 Times Resist, I've been playing that this week, and I'll be finishing it on Monday. No spoilies, no hints, no backseating, no tips. I didn't read anything. I didn't read the Steam page. I just bought it in the blind because one of our mods recommended it to me, and I've been having just a great time with it. So please join me for the epic conclusion of that on Monday, and next Wednesday we'll be beginning our new game. Next Tuesday, by the way, we do have a, there was a story that broke at Gen Con that we did not discuss here because Jeff and I are going to be talking about it on Tuesday, and that is Universes Beyond in Dungeons & Dragons. We're going to be taking a deep look. Jeff has worked on licensed IP games before in the past, so we're going to be talking a lot about working with licensed IP, about its advantages and disadvantages from a design perspective, about how we're feeling about this Universes Beyond coming to Dungeons & Dragons and the expansions of Universes Beyond for Wizards as a whole and crossover.
Jeff and I talked about that a decent amount at Gen Con when it was released, and it's so interesting. But if you just look at the two things, both WoW and Star Wars.
Yeah.
One seems like an excellent fit.
Yep.
And the other, I'm not so sure.
And I think it's entirely possible that either of them is either of them, by the way.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Anyway, that'll be next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday afternoon.
I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the WoW book. I don't think I'll even pick up the whatever it comes out, the Star Wars book. I don't think I have. Like, I feel like Star Wars is an IP. Sorry, we're just sort of finishing this up. I feel like it's so burnt out on me. I do not care. Yeah, I actually feel like culturally a lot of people don't care. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Mandalorian and Grogu,
yeah, it didn't do well.
Insane.
I love Mandalorian and I didn't go see it.
No, same. I think Star Wars is at the lowest it might have ever been as far as cultural cachet.
This is the way.
It can't stay on Andor forever.
Yeah.
Anywho. Hey, this has been Games for Breakfast. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, over on the Twitch, you Brads out there, or the Janets over on the YouTube machine, or the Rockies over on Nebula, watching this thing entirely ad-free, except for our fake ads for things you can't buy. I guess the only thing that is left before we go play Destiny 2 is to do our traditional send-off that I admittedly, everybody, while it is the same every week to foster a sense of community, I will say I am feeling a bit rusty at what it is because we haven't done it in so long.
Yeah, it's true.
So if everyone could just do the same thing with me and sort of help this move forward, I would very much appreciate it. And that is, of course, gambling no amount of real money just on yourself. I want you to write down on a piece of paper what the number on the piece of paper that I'm going to write down is. And then we're going to see how much everyone gets it right. So let's see here.
Okay.
Let's go here.
Everybody get your number.
Everyone get your piece of paper and get your number.
Right, okay.
Give it a second. Hold on. This is the same we do every time, so you should be able to get it.
Right, yeah, it's the same number every time. Even.
It's the same number every time. Oh no, my pen's running out. Hold on. Wait, this happens every time too.
Right, yeah, right. Yep. We got some good ones. About Tree Fitty, Euler's number.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you next week, everybody.
Aww.